How you doing, everyone? Subscribed, liked, shared, blessed, not stressed, the big five. Hope you've done all of them things, especially you, Mark. Anxiety. Someone messaged me yesterday on Instagram on the Dirty Work page saying, do you suffer with anxiety? And was that part of your story, or is that part of your brain? And yes, anxiety is part of my brain. I think it's probably part of anyone's brain who is living in the real world. Because I look at like spice heads or people who are just constantly taking drugs. And there's definitely a world you can live in that revolves around substance use that means you don't have to face anxiety and the real issues that the real world has. And I've struggled with anxiety, and maybe struggling with anxiety is not the right term for it, because I don't always struggle with it. I sometimes have it, but I'm now able to just accept it. And a lot of it is events-based anxiety, EBA we'll call it. And that is where something adverse actually happens and you're like, oh shit, how am I going to manage this? And I think everyone gets that. That's just being human. That's just like being nervous for your driving test and failing it and being like, oh God, got to pay for another test, got to be better at driving. And that's EBA right there. That's events-based anxiety. But non-events-based anxiety, NEBA, that's the tricky one. Waking up in the morning, just bad tummy, and you're like, oh God, it's a day again, it's another day, and I feel a bit weird and just not good. And you don't know why, and you can get in the loop of, why do I feel anxious? I feel anxious. Why do I feel anxious? I feel anxious. And for me, it's the same as depression. It's the same tool I use. Is I have to get outside my head. I have to do something like on exterior that's outside of what I'm feeling and what I'm doing. Never mind what I'm feeling. It's like if I was in the trenches at World War III, which I could quite possibly be soon, you ain't got time to have anxiety. Yes, you'll have nerves and adrenaline and all that, but you've not got time to be like, oh, I feel really down today, or God, I feel rubbish and I just don't know why, I'm a bit shaky and all that. It's like, get up, there's a war on. And so it's a very extreme version, I know, but sometimes I just think about other stuff that's happening in the world and what are my kids doing, or what am I doing at work. And because I've got a very active thought process and imagination, I quite quickly just then get in this, I'll end up telling myself a story about something I'll see, and I'll just take that and run with it, and before I know it, I'm thinking about something else. That's a thought process thing I do to help with my anxiety. But then an actual physical thing, we recorded a podcast on Friday, and that's out tomorrow, and we spoke about how exercise is just the number one deterrent for depression in the world, and that's been proven, and I've said it a few times now, but it helps depression, but I also think it really helps with anxiety. It's definitely helped with me. When you physically exhaust yourself, you almost don't have the energy to worry, because I think anxiety is centered around worry, which is often revolving around future events that are made up. Most of the things you worry about never happen, do they? That's a bit of a cliche, but it's true. No, most of the things that happen, you never worry about. So the two things I really, really try my hardest to do when I wake up, and I'll have periods of like 3 weeks at a time where I have anxiety in the morning. I'm like, oh God, I'll immediately go think about something else. Think about people who are worse off. Can you help anyone? And this is a great way of me dealing with anxiety, just talking and having people, or one person, Mark, comment, going, yep, watch the video, not great again, but nice one. It keeps the wolf from the door. Active brain, active body keeps that anxiety and the depression in control. So yeah, they're the two things. Hope that helps someone. And also, yeah, hope everyone is good and not necessarily struggling with that right now, because it's rubbish. It's so isolating, both them feelings. You feel like you're the only person in the world when you feel like that. And connecting with other people is really a massive thing. Connecting with other people. Can't speak highly enough of it. I spoke yesterday about what do pubs do, where do they go? The 2010 heyday to now, and they're struggling a bit. And I also see a lot of these, they call them coffee raves. Very Australian thing, I think. I'm hoping they've not worked their way over to London yet, although I probably imagine they have. But coffee raves, I don't think are the way to go. I've seen it on Instagram. Part of me thinks that it's all for Instagram. Really need to stop being on Instagram, I think, just in general. But yeah, coffee raves, what do people think about them? Because people are in activewear, drinking coffee, both fine. But then having a DJ pumping the music out 8 o'clock, and people are paying for tickets to go and do that. You're paying for a ticket to go and have a coffee to house music. And we know what type of house music it is. It's what I call dopamine house, where it's not real. It's not a real song. Like, listen to real house music. Proper house music from the 90s. And present house music, current house music. Good, proper, well-made house music. You cannot compare it to this breed of music that is like, yes, it's 120 beats per minute. Yes, it's got 4 to the floor kick drums. All of the telltale signs of a house tune, but it is not house music. It is just garbage that producers, well, shadow producers, they're celebrities now who make songs and they use real producers to go, can you just make this? I've got a mate who does it. He's a shadow producer for people. And he's like, yeah, guess who's making a tune now? But I'm making the tune for him. That's the world we live in, isn't it? And that's the coffee rave world. They're making tunes for these coffee raves. And it'll have like a deep voice going like, you know what I really like? I see your girl in the crowd in the room. And it's almost going back to that Panamericano tune from 2010. It's gone full circle. What is that tune, by the way? Who made it and what's it called? Because it's basically inspired a new generation of dickheads to make equally unbearable music. They haven't got the trumpet samples anymore, but they've just got like bass noises that are directly downloaded from Splice, a database of samples that you have to put no effort in to make a tune anymore. And you got these celebrities like Fisher in Australia. You got ex-professional sportsmen, English rugby players, ex-English rugby players, parading as DJs and producers. They haven't sat on Ableton till 2 a.m. in their life. And I'm not saying I'm a good producer or anything, but I know what it takes to make a half-decent tune, because I've never done it. Do you know what I mean? And I know how much effort and hours and weeks and years of being a full nerd, scouring the internet, working out patches and EQing. It takes years. These people are just going, yeah, got a new tune out, and they're making content on the back of it. It's not the real world, it's for the coffee raves. So if you're watching this, don't go to a coffee rave. don't listen to the dance music that is on mainstream radio, because it is made by a computer. It's not made by a person. Very soon, AI will have hopefully just gone, do you know what, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that music. Let us have that. And then the real producers can go, right, there's no money in it for us anymore. Let's just make music for the love of it. So yeah, that's the Thursday Daily Dirt for you. Enjoy.